Okay, here we are. We're back. I am back because I'm not convinced the music was being heard through the radio system. It would be very nice if someone could tell me whether the music was on or not, because I'm not sure it was on. Well, just in case it wasn't on, I cut it short and I could not allow you to get that inspiration. Eric Satie was ready, but I don't think you heard it. Sorry about that. These are the problems of live radio. So let's move on. I will try and fix the problem so you can listen to the next song I prepared for you today, which is a beautiful one. So I was going to give you a few examples of different personal essences discovered by some of my clients. I'm going to start by offering you my own personal essence, my own personal example. My own personal essence is light. I'm a light beam. My personal essence is that of a light beam. What would you say are the main characteristics of a light beam? Well, if you take light as the main component of a light beam, you might say that it's fast, because light is very fast. You might also say that it illuminates, or it enlightens. You might also say that it's quite focused. You might say that is bright. Well, for those of you who know me and are listening to me tonight, would you say that I am enlightening? Would you say that I am bright? And would you say that I am fast? For those of you who don't know me yet, well, let me give you just a few examples of my own personal life. Ever since I was a little kid, my parents always said that I couldn't stand still, that I couldn't stop, that I was always on the move, and that I had to do everything fast. Well, I used to work as a simultaneous interpreter. You know those people who translate at the same time another person's talking? And when I say at the same time, I mean literally at the same time. We have headsets on, we have a microphone, for example, at conferences and events, and we are repeating what another person is saying, but repeating it in another language. Well, that used to be my job. I used to be a simultaneous interpreter. It can't get much faster than that, can it? And we were talking about enlightening. Well, I used to be a simultaneous interpreter, translator. That is enlightening. But before that, I was a teacher. And now I am a humanologist. I have been enlightening human beings one way or another for my whole life. My whole life, helping other people see, helping other people understand, one way or another. And funnily enough, none of those jobs I chose myself. Those 3 jobs or those 3 careers chose me. I didn't choose to be a teacher, but my father was a teacher trainer. And of course, I had to work for him. I had to work in his school when I was growing up, when I was a teenager, because, well, he was American, and you know that in the US, teenagers usually work to make some pocket money. Well, I started working for my father when I was a teenager, and then he trained me as a teacher, and I taught for many years. And then I was asked to be a simultaneous interpreter during the San Sebastian Film Festival many, many years ago. I didn't want to because I already had enough clients as a teacher, but I owed someone a favor and I ended up doing it. And then I discovered I loved interpreting and I became a simultaneous interpreter until I had my 2 car accidents and couldn't walk anymore. And the doctors told me I shouldn't continue working. I had to sell my company and I had to stop interpreting. But then I became a humanologist. I started helping people be happier and finding new ways to interpret life. So life has always given me chances to illuminate others. And I've taken them. Well, focused you have to be quite focused. If you're going to do what I do, you have to focus on other human beings, you have to focus on their issues, you have to focus on what they're telling you so you can somehow give them light. As a simultaneous interpreter, I had to be utterly focused on what I was saying and what I was hearing. So many of the characteristics of light can be found in me. In fact, if I studied all the other characteristics of light, I am quite convinced I'd have most of them. And that's what happens with personal essence. Once you discover what your personal essence is, all those characteristics come clear. You then understand that you have those characteristics. I've had those characteristics my whole life. Light can be warm, but if you raise its intensity, it can burn. Life can be attractive. It attracts certain beings, but it can also be blinding, and people can reject it because they feel blinded by it. Those two things have always happened to me. I can never, ever enter a room and not be noticed by everyone. It's always happened to me ever since I was a little kid. I remember my mother telling me when I was a teenager, can't you just walk another way or be different so people don't notice you everywhere you go? Well, not really, Mom. I'm sorry. Throughout my whole life, I've been rejected by people upon seeing me. They see me and they immediately go away from me. And I could never understand why. I'd never done anything to those people. Today I understand that they feel blinded by me. I blind them, or their own light is diminished by my light. My light is more powerful than theirs, and then they become invisible and they have to move away from me because I outshine them. The day I discovered that my personal essence is light, many episodes in my life made sense. I understood so many things. I made sense of so many events and so many anecdotes. But not only that, once I discovered that my personal essence is light, light beam, I understood how to use that knowledge to make my life easier for myself. Today, I don't try to do things slow anymore. I know I have to do things fast. It's against my nature to slow down. So I don't try to force myself to eat slowly or do things slowly because it makes me nervous and it makes me uncomfortable and upset. I am fast and I do things fast. I do everything quickly. That is it. I know, I understand, and I accept myself so much better. And there's something else. If I want to decide on something today, I don't study the different choices trying to see what are the pros and the cons of the choices. Not anymore. Now I look at the choices in front of me and I say, okay, so which of the choices offers me more light? Which one is lighter to my eyes? And I choose that one. And you know what? I'm never, ever wrong. Why? Because even if I choose the choice that in principle should be harder for me, I flow there. I feel like I can go through that choice easily because I flow, I fit in. Whereas if I choose the other one, that might look easier, but is less illuminated, is less bright, I end up bumping against things and I end up always having trouble because it's against my nature. I don't fit in. I don't flow. This is my own personal essence. I could go on and give you many other examples and many other details and explain many other anecdotes. But I think it's better if I give you other examples as well, so you can better understand what personal essence means. Let me make a little pause in my explanation and my examples to remind you that we are giving a copy of Caribou, my children's book, away today to the first person who wants to join us in this chat and wants to venture or dare say what his or her personal essence might be. Would you like to guess? Would you like to tell me what you think your personal essence is? You can win a copy of Caribou, the children's book that deals with abandonment, fear, and loneliness. That's a book written by me, and it's bilingual, English and Spanish. Perfect for children. So if you want to participate, if you want to get a chance to win a copy of Caribou, the only thing you have to do is write what you think your personal essence is on the chat here and on Coach on Fire. I also said a few minutes ago at the beginning of the show that I would like you to send me your questions and your comments. You can use my email address, info@jessicajlockhart.com. I will try and answer your questions live on the different shows, Conversations with Jessica. Please send me your questions so I can answer them here. You can also post your questions through the chat live and I will try to answer them. If you want more information on Humanology, you can also get onto my website, www.jessicajlockhart.com. You can also look me up. I have my own YouTube channel, of course, Jessica J. Lockhart. Just Google me, Jessica J. Lockhart. You'll find me everywhere. I'm also on Facebook. Do you want to learn more about Humanology? Send me an email. I will be very happy to get in contact with you. So, as I was saying, I'm going to give you another example of a personal essence that some of my clients discovered was theirs. Let me tell you about one personal essence that a young lady discovered was hers. This was a tough personal essence. Her personal essence was perfection. Perfection. Can you imagine what this person is like? What would you say are the main characteristics of perfection? Perfection would not accept being wrong. Perfection is always beautiful. Perfection is always powerful. Perfection is everything positive you can ever imagine. Well, this lady's personal essence was perfection. Can you imagine how difficult it is for her to be herself sometimes? Do you want another example? Let's see. Let me tell you one of the funny examples. I usually tell people about this one example because it really, really surprised me when my client discovered her personal essence. It was shocking to me. The person looking for the personal essence was a lady in her 50s. She is a twin. We spoke about twins before. She has a twin sister, and she is a little petite woman who discovered her personal essence to be lifesaver. Those rings that you find in ships and boats that can save your life if you fall into the water. Well, when the concept came up, I was shocked. I was all like, okay, so what do I know about lifesavers? I don't really know much about lifesavers.